This week on Code 4 TV, getting paid not to work, the advanced combat helmet, and packing heat in Wyoming. Welcome to episode 113 of Code 4 TV. I'm Joe Puckett. It's a great day in our world and a busy week in public safety, so let's get it started. Madison, Wisconsin police arrested a man on Valentine's Day with a .559% BAC level. The man, who was trespassing at a residence, was passed out when police arrived. The man was transported to a local hospital for observation and eventually left against the will of the doctors. Most literature and studies say a person can fall into a coma and die with a blood alcohol content of 0.5% or higher. Now you're probably asking yourself, what is the highest recorded BAC? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's believed to be a man in Poland is recorded as the highest BAC with a 1.48%. This was after a car accident and he later died. The highest reported BAC level in the U.S. was reported to be in Klamath County, Oregon, where in 2007 a woman was found in a vehicle stuck in the snow. Her blood alcohol level was reported as 0.72. Well, a CAD iPhone app is now available for public safety staff to instantly see previous issues at a location or view criminal data for a specific residence. The app, called the SafetyNet Mobile Insight app, gives police instant access to criminal or intel information regarding a location. Users simply point their iPhone camera at a location, and using the phone's GPS to bring up the address, they can check enforcement history or officer safety hazards at the site. This can be done in seconds. An example that was reported is officers responding to a child abduction report. An officer could take out his or her iPhone, scan the neighborhood, and an icon would pop up if there was previous problems or sex offenders that live in the area. A Florida inmate set a new record last week and brought home the real meaning of the Fanny Pack. Neil Lansing, 33 years of age, managed to tuck 30 various items of contraband up into his fanny when entering the facility. The stash of items included pills, cigarettes, matches, a flint, a syringe, some lip balm, and an unused condom. While smuggling contraband via the rectum is nothing new, officials think this number of items is some sort of a record. Well, a FEMA report released this week says that half of the children killed in fires are under age 5. The data shows that this trend is on the rise and been increasing 2% during the most recent study for years 2004 to 2007. The study also correlates fires and burns as the third leading cause of accidental deaths for the children, after transportation accidents and drowning. The study also reports that nearly 3,500 Americans die in fires and roughly 18,300 are injured in fires annually. A police officer in Davie, Florida has been paid for 7 years not to work. According to local news reports, the Florida police officer has an ongoing issue with the city and the previous police chief starting in 2003, including being fired twice. Both times he was fired, he was reinstated by an arbitrator and a federal judge. The current police chief is still refusing to allow him back to work for review and recertification reasons. The officer, Kevin Kilpatrick, continues to get raises and benefits, currently totaling over $80,000 per year. He is eligible to take his full retirement in 2014. The Army and Marines plan to begin field testing a new combat helmet for their personnel. The new helmets are reported by Colonel William Cole to offer better protection for soldiers than they expected or have ever seen before. The new advanced combat helmet is thicker than the current helmets and 1 to 4 ounces lighter than the current helmets, depending on the sizes. The helmets during ballistic and velocity testing did so well that military officials say they will now have to develop a new system of testing the effectiveness of the helmets, as they did far better than anything they have ever seen before. They will be in the field beginning fall of 2011. A Pinal County deputy in Arizona saved 2 lives in less than 1 hour earlier this month while on duty. Deputy Robert Taylor was flagged down about 11:30 a.m. by the parents of an 8-month-old infant who was choking. He performed CPR on the infant, who began breathing a short time later. Then, within the hour, he was dispatched to a welfare check on an 83-year-old male. While searching the area where the man lived, he discovered him in the bottom of a large hole in the ground. After calling for assistance, the deputy found a ladder, climbed down into the hole, and lifted the elderly man out. Canadian firefighters are seeing a recent spike in deaths among their members. The issue, they believe, is causing the deaths is a 1997 fire. The fire, which is reported to be one of North America's worst ever industrial fires, took place in Plastimet. The industrial fire burned 400 tons of recycled plastics for 4 days. Health officials were worried almost immediately that firefighters were being exposed to high levels of hydrochloric acid. The high levels of the acid were believed to be the reason why the metals on some of the fire trucks melted away. Officials set up a long-term health monitoring program almost immediately. They predicted that health issues might begin to show up 10 to 15 years after the Plastimet fire. Now, 14 years later, their suspicions may have been right. The cluster of recent deaths and illness among the firefighters who fought that blaze in '97 has increased the attention of health officials. Speaking of chemicals, a forklift in a Homberg, Germany shipping terminal punctured a drum of that chemical, causing it to spill in the terminal. Emergency workers responded to the scene, and before work was complete, 200 people were checked for exposure to the chemical, 150 had to be completely decontaminated, and 38 were transported to the hospital for treatment. How would you like to be in charge of that scene? Want more information on this accident? You can also see some photos. Go to firegeezer.com. And finally, the Wyoming Legislature appears poised to pass a bill which would allow residents of the state to carry concealed guns without a permit. The exception to the rule would be that people cannot carry concealed while intoxicated. The bill has cleared the Senate, and if it passes in the full House, then Wyoming would join 3 other states, Alaska, Arizona, and Vermont, as states that do not require permits to carry concealed. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Code 4 TV. If you have a topic you want me to discuss, send a note to me, joe@code4.org, or get social with us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also visit us at code4.org. Thanks for watching, and have a great and safe day.